renowned atomic scientist, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Anil Kakodkar, the chief guest and writer, Mr. Harish Kapadia, the coordinating organization BARC Girisanchar's representative or the president.
पण केवळ छंद म्हणून डोंगरात जाण्यासाठी 18वे शतक उजाडावं लागलं. इटलीच्या सीमेला लागून असलेलं पण फ्रान्समध्ये वसलेलं आल्प्समधील सर्वोच्च हिमशिखर मॉन्ट ब्लांकवरील आरोहणामुळे गिर्यारोहणाची सुरुवात झाली असं मानलं जातं. पण त्यापूर्वी देखील युरोपात मॉन्ट व्हेंतो, रोश मेलोन अशा काही पर्वतांवर आरोहण झालं होतं. 1492 मध्ये तेव्हा ही घटना एक छंद म्हणून गिर्यारोहणाची सुरुवात मानली जाते. आल्फ्रेड विल्स यांच्या 1856 मधील वॉन्डरिंग अमंग द हाय आल्प्स या पुस्तकानं गिर्यारोहणाला खऱ्या अर्थानं चालना मिळाली. त्यानंतर 1857 साली ब्रिटिशांनी अल्पाईन क्लब स्थापन केला आणि पाठोपाठ 1885 पर्यंत युरोपातील इतर देशांमध्ये देखील अशा संस्था उदयास येत गेल्या. गिर्यारोहणाची एक क्रीडा प्रकार म्हणून वाटचाल होऊ लागली. अनुभवांची देवघेव व्हावी या हेतूनं अल्पाईन क्लबनं पीक्स, पासेस अँड ग्लेशियर्स या शीर्षकाच्या पुस्तिका प्रकाशित केल्या. 1863च्या मार्च पासून क्लबतर्फे अल्पाईन जर्नल हे त्रैमासिक सुरू झालं. गिर्यारोहणाच्या दस्तावेजीकरणाची पद्धत सुरू झाली. 1871 साली प्रसिद्ध झालेलं लेस्ली स्टीफन लिखित द प्लेग्राउंड ऑफ युरोप.
आपण अशा आपल्या बरोबर जे दिग्गज आपल्यामध्ये आहेत, जे पायोनियर्स आपल्यामध्ये आहेत, त्यांना आपण ऐकणार आहोत. त्यानंतर दुपारच्या सत्रामध्ये कांचनजंगावरती जी महाराष्ट्रात यशस्वी मोहीम झाली त्या मोहिमेची चित्रफित आणि इतरही काही चित्रफिती आपण दुपारच्या सत्रामध्ये बघणार आहोत. तर असं पूर्ण ऍक्टिव्हिटीजनी पॅक असलेला हा आपला दिवस आहे. तर यानंतर आपण गिरिमित्र सन्मान जे आपण दरवर्षी प्रदान करतो त्या गिरिमित्र सन्मान प्रदान करण्याच्या कार्यक्रमाला आपण आता सुरुवात करत आहोत.
गिरिमित्र गिर्यारोहणाचे दरवर्षी काही सन्मान आपण प्रदान करतो. त्यासाठी यावर्षीचे मुख्य अतिथी श्री हरीश कपाडिया यांना मी व्यासपीठावर येण्याची विनंती करते. आय रिक्वेस्ट the honorable guest for today, Mr. Harish Kapadia, to please come up on stage.
वडगाव मावळ येथील या संस्थेला त्या संस्थेसाठी एकच जोरदार टाळ्या होऊ देत आणि
गडभट्टांची संवर्धन वडगाव मावळ.
यांच्या कामगिरीचं जे मानपत्र आहे त्याचं वाचन आपल्या समोर या ठिकाणी करतोय. सर्वांना विनंती कृपया व्यासपीठावरती यावं. मावळात सह्याद्रीचे अनेक गडकिल्ले बसलेले आहेत. या भागातील इतिहासाचे साक्षीदार काही वर्षे उपेक्षितच राहिले होते. त्यापैकी एक म्हणजे मावळातील त्रिकोणा किल्ला. मात्र गडभटकंती दुर्ग संवर्धन संस्था वडगाव मावळ यांच्या प्रयत्नामुळे गेल्या काही वर्षात त्रिकोणा किल्ल्याचे रूप बदलले. ग्रामस्थ संवर्धन संस्था पुणे आणि इतर गडबडींच्या माध्यमातून गेल्या काही वर्षात त्रिकोणावर अनेक उपक्रम केले आहेत. गडावरील स्वच्छता हा मुद्दा आहे.
त्यामुळे तुम्हाला पण विनंती आहे आपण यांचं मानपत्र आधी ऐकूया. 1980 नंतरच्या काळात महाराष्ट्रात गिर्यारोहण व्यापक प्रमाणात संस्थात्मक माध्यमातून वाढू लागले होते. याच वेळी पुण्यामध्ये स्थापन झालेल्या गिरीप्रेमी या संस्थेने गेल्या 36 वर्षांमध्ये गिर्यारोहणात चौफेर कामगिरी बजावलेली आहे. 1982 साली पुण्यामध्ये आनंद पाणंदे, उषाप्रभा पागे, जयंत तुळपुळे यांनी एकत्र येऊन गिरीप्रेमी या संस्थेची स्थापना केली. आनंदासाठी गिर्यारोहण हे ब्रीद कायम ठेवून सुरू झालेली ही संस्था वेगवेगळ्या वाटेवरच्या हिमशिखरांना गवसणी घालायला लागली. लिओपार्गियाल, माना पर्वत, विधान, श्री कैलास अशा शिखरांवर छोट्या चमूने आरोहण सुरू झाली. 1985 साली संस्थेच्या सतोपंत मोहिमेमध्ये 3 सदस्यांचा अपघाती मृत्यू झाला. पण पुन्हा जिद्दीने 1992 मध्ये सतोपंतवर यशस्वी आरोहण कठीण हिमशिखरांवरच्या मोहिमा करण्याची परंपरा सुदर्शन शिवलिंग या शिखरांवरच्या आरोहणाने कायम राखली. एकीकडे पर्वतारोहण सुरू असताना प्रस्तरारोहणानेही वेग पकडला होता. छोट्या मोठ्या सुळक्यांवर आरोहण होतच, पण त्याच वेळी उंचच्या उंच प्रस्तर भिंतींचं आव्हान या संस्थेचं धाकटं भावंड आरोहक या संस्थेने घेतलं. आर्थर सीट, कात्राकडा, ढाकोबाची बॉल, विसापूरची बॉल, अंधारवनाची भिंत, विसापूरची भिंत, पदरगडाची बॉल अशा प्रस्तर भिंतींवरची आरोहण या संस्थेने केलेली आहे. आजवर 150हून अधिक सुळके आणि प्रस्तर भिंतींवर त्यांनी आरोहण केलेलं आहे. गेल्या 10 वर्षांमध्ये गिरीप्रेमीने 8000 हिमशिखरांचा वेध घ्यायला सुरुवात केली. एव्हरेस्टसह लोत्से, मकालू, धवलागिरी, चोयू, मनसलू आणि आता कांचनजंगा अशा 7 अष्टहजारी शिखरांवर त्यांनी यशस्वी आरोहण केले आहे. संस्थेने केलेले आहेत. गिर्यारोहण आणि प्रस्तरारोहणाबरोबरच संस्थेने सामाजिक बांधिलकी जोपासत 1991 मध्ये उत्तर काशीमध्ये जो भूकंप झाला होता तिथे, त्याचबरोबर 2005 मध्ये कोकणात महापूर आला होता तिथे, लडाख मधली ढगफुटी आणि 2013 ची उत्तराखंड मधली दुर्घटना, तसंच 2015 मधला नेपाळचा भूकंप या सर्व प्रसंगांमध्ये मदत कार्यासाठी धावून काम केलेलं आहे.
इको प्रो या संस्थेला, चंद्रपूरचे इको प्रो संस्थेचे सदस्य कृपया आपण व्यासपीठावरती आहोत. जंगलांचा प्रदेश म्हणून ओळखल्या जाणाऱ्या विदर्भात पर्यावरणाच्या संरक्षण आणि संवर्धनात कार्यरत असणाऱ्यांची संख्या बरीच आहे. मात्र त्याच जोडीने वारसा स्थळांशी निगडीत काम करणाऱ्यांपैकी एक नाव म्हणजे इको प्रो ही संस्था. इको प्रो संस्थेची स्थापना 2006 साली चंद्रपुरात झाली. पर्यावरण आणि सामाजिक प्रश्न मार्गी लावण्यासाठी या संस्थेने अनेक वेळा आंदोलने, अन्नत्याग, सत्याग्रह केला आहे. अदानी गो बॅक आंदोलन, चंद्रपूर शहरातील वाढत्या प्रदूषणाबद्दल अन्नत्याग, व्याघ्र प्रकल्पातील गावांचे पुनरावसन, संकटग्रस्त प्राण्यांचे रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन असे उपक्रम संस्थेने केले आहेत. चंद्रपुरातील अनेक शाळांमध्ये इको प्रो स्कूल क्लब सुरू केले आहेत. पर्यावरणाबरोबरच संस्थेने चंद्रपूर शहरातील परकोटच्या स्वच्छतेसाठी मोहीम 2017 पासून सुरू केली आहे. एखाद्या खंडराप्रमाणे अवस्था झालेल्या या किल्ल्यात 750 दिवसांपासून रोज सकाळी काम सुरू असून 11 किलोमीटरचा परिसर आजपर्यंत स्वच्छ केला गेला आहे. कार्य सन्मान देऊन आपण गौरवत आहोत.
In fact, many times there are new reporters employed by newspapers, and they always say, "Go and interview Mr. Kapadia and come in." The boy will ask me, "So, how did you start your trekking?" I'll say, "Mountains around Mumbai," and most of them will be blank. Are there mountains around Mumbai? You better travel to Mumbai to Pune, and you will find many mountains. So sometimes we don't know what a great wealth we possess, what is a great range that we are living in, and what great opportunities we have. In fact, people who get posted to Delhi find weekends very difficult to spend because there is nothing to go to, there is no activity to be undertaken. So as a result, it is our duty to understand this and enjoy it very responsibly and preserve it more and more. Now, main thing is I was lucky at a very young age. I was in school at age of 14 when I got introduced to the Saharis. And since then I have been regularly going, and everything that we have done is out of the Saharis. And this is not just a way to climb mountains. There is people living there. It has a very excellent culture. They are very nice people. They have not changed still so much. There are forts with historical events, and variety of dams, animals and everything. So Sahyadri is kind of a total package in itself, and which if you can enjoy nice and responsibility, it's very nice. And if you are going to talk about pioneers, which is the subject, I will introduce you to a few people who are sort of started the real activity in Sahyadri everywhere. So this is my book, Track the Sahyadri. It has been in print for last 30-40 years, and that's why it has become very popular. And we have been constantly revising it, updating it, and I'm glad that it helped a lot of youngster people to enjoy the hills. And I again and again I repeat that nowadays there is a lot of crowd on the peaks. While what we saw was the Sahyadri, which was in all its glory, very much undisturbed, and we hope that it can come back to same level. Now Sahyadri actually, just to give a very brief thing, starts near Surat. I mean the northernmost point is near Surat, that is Tapi. South of Tapi till Goa's Terekol, it would be Sahyadri range, part of the Western Ghats, and it's pretty long, and it contains more than around 600 to 700 hills and forts and all inclusive, plus plenty of villages and variety of fauna and flora. So this is the Sahyadri which you can, goes up and down. Now the river. Yeah. It's not moving this one. So now initially there was Sahyadri needed some training and doing, and one is one of the pioneers, Jagdish Nanavati. He went to his basic course in mountaineering in Darjeeling, and there he discussed with Brigadier Dancing, and he said my instructors are free during winter.
मी महासंघाचे अध्यक्ष श्री वसे सर यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनीही कृपया व्यासपीठावरती यावं. यानंतर आपण एक पुस्तकाचंही प्रकाशन.
आपल्या सर्वांना जी माहिती आहे, सगळ्यांच्या ओळखीची तीच आहे डॉक्टर प्रीती पटेल. गेली 10 वर्ष ती घाटवाटा हा विषय घेऊन भटकंती करते, आणि त्याचबरोबर तिने याबद्दलचं लिखाण सुद्धा केलेलं आहे. लोकप्रभाच्या माध्यमातून तिने लिहायला सुरुवात केली. त्याची लेखमाला लोकप्रभाने प्रकाशित केलेली आहे. जवळजवळ म्हणजे आता ज्या वाटा विस्मृती गेलेल्या आहेत, घाटवाटा ज्या आता वापरातही नाही, तिथल्या गावातल्यांना माहितही नाही, अशा 200 पेक्षा जास्त घाटवाटा तिने स्वतः धुंडाळलेले आहेत, आणि त्यातल्या 54 घाटवाटांची माहिती या आधी प्रकाशित केलेली आहेत. त्यांना आणि लोकप्रभाचे संपादक विनायक परब जर असतील तर त्यांना सुद्धा मी व्यासपीठावर येण्याची विनंती करते. अशा आडवाटेवरच्या विषयाला हात घालणारी डॉक्टर प्रीती, तिचं PhD ही भटकंती करत असतानाच पूर्ण झालेलं आहे, आणि आपल्या सगळ्यांच्यासाठी 54 घाटवाटांची साध्यंत माहिती त्यांनी या पुस्तकामध्ये आणलेली आहे, आणि त्याचं प्रकाशन आज आपण इथे गिरिमित्र संमेलनामध्ये करतो आहोत. सर्व मान्यवरांना मी ही विनंती करते की त्यांनी या पुस्तकाचं प्रकाशन करावं. या पुस्तकामध्ये तिने लिहिलेल्या गोष्टींचं वैशिष्ट्य असं की फक्त कुठून कुठे कसं जायचं आणि कुठून कुठे घाटवाटा आपल्याला घेऊन जातात, फक्त एवढाच मजकूर नाहीये, तर पूर्वीची दळणवळणाची साधनं कशी होती, त्या घाटांचा वापर कशा प्रकारे केला गेला आणि युद्धामध्ये त्यांचा वापर कसा केला गेला, ही सुद्धा माहिती, हाही अभ्यास या तिच्या लेखांमध्ये आहे. जरूर आपण सर्वांनी हे पुस्तक संग्रहित ठेवावं.
All mountaineers, trekkers, the people who have pioneered this wonderful spirit of human exploration, ladies and gentlemen. I am very conscious that among a very enjoyable journey through the mountains, that experience, I have been pushed in, and as somebody whom, what shall I say? I can't say fish out of water because we're talking about mountains, but somebody who perhaps has the least experience in this arena. But I must thank you for this wonderful experience. Wonderful experience of people from different walks of life who are very close to nature, who have been spending their weekends or several days in a year in trekking, in going close to nature.
मी डॉक्टर रघुनाथ गोडबोले यांना विनंती करतो की त्यांनी कृपया व्यासपीठावरती यावं. त्यांना हा सन्मान आपण देणार आहोत आणि त्याचं वाचन मानसी करू.
गिरिमित्र संस्थात्मक कार्य सन्मान डॉक्टर रघुनाथ गोडबोले. व्यावसायिक आयुष्यात गिर्यारोहणातून मिळालेला आत्मविश्वास अनेकदा दिसतोच, पण व्यावसायिक आयुष्यातल्या कौशल्यांचा वापर गिर्यारोहणामध्ये करण्याचं उदाहरण मर्यादित आहे. अशांपैकी एक म्हणजे डॉक्टर रघुनाथ गोडबोले. डॉक्टरांची सह्याद्रीतली भटकंती 1970 सालापासून सुरू झाली. वडील विश्वनाथ गोडबोले आणि बापू काका पटवर्धन यांच्या मार्गदर्शनाखाली ते डोंगरामध्ये भटकू लागले. वैद्यकीय शिक्षण घेत असतानाच त्यांनी पुण्याच्या बीजे महाविद्यालयामध्ये 1976 साली माउंटेनियरिंग क्लबची स्थापना केली. महाविद्यालयात आजही हा क्लब सुरू आहे. त्याचबरोबर इंडियन मेडिकल असोसिएशनचा पुण्यामध्ये ट्रेकिंग क्लब सुद्धा सुरू केलेला आहे. पुढे वैद्यकीय व्यवसायात सुरुवात झाल्यानंतर सुद्धा डॉक्टरांचं डोंगरांशी असलेलं नातं दुरावलं नाही. उलट गेली 44 वर्ष न चुकता दरवर्षी त्यांची हिमालयातली वारी ठरलेली असते.
आरोहणादरम्यान त्याला अपघाताला सामोरं जावं लागलं, पण त्यामुळे त्याच्या प्रस्तरारोहणात मात्र खंड पडला नाही. 2000 मध्ये सह्याद्री ऍडव्हेंचर क्लब अर्थात सॅक या संस्थेची स्थापनाच मुळी भवानी कड्यावर आरोहण करण्यापासून झाली आणि पुढे 2005 पर्यंत त्यांनी अनेक मोहिमांमध्ये लीड क्लाइम्बिंग केलं. 2003 मध्ये बाण सुळक्यावर त्यांनी आरोहण केलं. आजवर त्यांनी सह्याद्रीतील 29 अजिंक्य सुळके, कडे आणि कातळ भेगांवर यशस्वी आरोहण केले आहे. एकूण 100हून अधिक प्रस्तरारोहणाच्या मोहिमांमध्ये यशस्वी सहभाग घेतला आहे. माहुली किल्ल्याच्या डोंगरातील सर्व सुळके, कोकण कड्याचा मध्य रूट, बाण सुळका, ठोसेकर धबधबा, संडेवनची समोरची बाजू अशा अनेक मोहिमा त्याच्या खात्यामध्ये आहेत. त्याचबरोबर हिमालयातही त्यांनी 10 मोहिमा केलेल्या आहेत. पण केवळ स्वतःच्या खात्यातील मोहिमांची संख्या वाढवण्यापेक्षा त्यांनी सॅक संस्थेची पायाभरणी केली. प्रस्तरारोहणाचा सतत सराव, प्रशिक्षण शिबिरे यामध्ये तो सक्रिय राहिला. शरीराने साथ दिली नसली तरी प्रत्येक प्रस्तरारोहण मोहिमेत त्याचा सहभाग आजही असतो. तो संस्थेच्या वाटचालीसाठी महत्वाचा ठरतो. संस्थेने आजवर 140हून अधिक सुळके आणि
बाबूकडा, भैरवगड, कातळधार, वजीर, नागफणी अशा एकापेक्षा एक कड्या सुळक्यांवरती त्याने आरोहणाचा धडाका लावला. तैलबैलाच्या एकट्याने कोणत्याही साधन सामग्री शिवाय असलेल्या भिंतीवरती त्याने आरोहण केलेलं आहे आणि नागफणीच्या सुळक्यावरती नाईट क्लाइम्बिंग म्हणजे रात्रीच्या वेळेचं आरोहण त्याने केलेलं आहे. आजवर सह्याद्रीतले 60हून अधिक सुळके आणि कड्यांवरती त्यांनी आरोहण केलेलं आहे.
हे विनय हेगडेचं वैशिष्ट्य म्हणावं लागेल. विनयची डोंगराची ओळख झाली ती हॉलिडे हायकर्सच्या माध्यमातून. नंतर काही वर्षे तो युथ हॉस्टेलशी जोडला गेला. तर अनेक मोहिमा त्याने छोट्या चमूसह स्वतंत्र आरोहण केलं. 1985 मध्ये त्यांनी गिर्यारोहणाचं प्राथमिक प्रशिक्षण पूर्ण केलं. त्यानंतर 1986 मध्ये प्रगत प्रशिक्षण घेतलं. सह्याद्रीतील विण्याची भटकंती आणि प्रस्तरारोहण सुरूच होतं. ड्यूस नोज, बाण, नवरा, तरवली, तरीबैला, गणेश अशा कठीण सुळक्यांसह त्यानं 25 सुळक्यांवर यशस्वी आरोहण केलं. विण्याची खरी कारागिरी भरली ती मात्र हिमालयात. 1987 पासून त्याने गेल्या 30 वर्षात 33 हिमालयन मोहिमा केल्या. त्यापैकी 14 हिमशिखरांवर त्यांनी यशस्वी आरोहण केलं. 1995 साली माना पर्वत 2 या अस्पर्शित शिखरावर पहिलं आरोहण त्यांनी यशस्वी केलं. त्यानंतर 2017 मध्ये स्पिती व्हॅली मधील एका अनाम अस्पर्शित शिखरावर आरोहण देखील त्यांनी यशस्वी केले. विनय हेगडे यांनी महाराष्ट्रातील गिर्यारोहण क्षेत्रात प्रगती व प्रसाराकरता केलेल्या या बहुमूल्य योगदानाबद्दल त्यांना गिरिमित्र गिर्यारोहण सन्मान देऊन गौरवण्यात येत आहे.
आणि तसंच पचमढी वगैरे ठिकाणी त्याची पटकंती सुरू झाली. कालांतराने हिमालयाची ओळख झाली. गिर्यारोहणाचं प्राथमिक प्रशिक्षण त्याने पूर्ण केलं आणि पुढे नागपूर माउंटेनियर्सच्या माध्यमातून त्याने भागीरथी 2 वर यशस्वी आरोहण केलं. माउंट चोक सारंग वर त्यांनी आरोहण केलं. तसंच सतोपंथ वरतीही आरोहणाचा प्रयत्न त्यांनी केला होता. हिमालयाबरोबर सह्याद्रीतल्याही अनेक सुळक्यांवर त्यांनी प्रस्तरारोहणाच्या यशस्वी मोहिमा केल्या आहेत. पण केवळ स्वतःपुरतं न राहता सचिनने नागपूर माउंटेनियर्सच्या कामामध्ये लक्ष घातलं. नागपूर माउंटेनियर्स सातत्याने डोंगरापासून लांब असणाऱ्या ठिकाणी सुद्धा गेली 30 वर्ष काम करते आहे. इतकंच नाही तर अनेक तरुणांना ही संस्था प्रोत्साहित सुद्धा करते आहे. सचिन कोलारकर यांना यावर्षी गिर्यारोहण क्षेत्रातल्या त्यांच्या संस्थात्मक कार्याबद्दल गिरिमित्र गिर्यारोहक संस्थात्मक कार्य सन्मान आपण प्रदान करणार आहोत. वय वाढतं तसा सर्वसामान्य माणसाचा कल हा शांत आयुष्य जगण्याकडे असतो. पण फ्रँकोच्या बाबतीत मात्र हे गृहीतक खोटं ठरतं. त्यामुळे 1981 सालापासून सुरू झालेला त्यांचा डोंगराचा प्रवास आजही सुरूच आहे. फ्रँकोची डोंगर भटकंती सुरू झाल्यानंतर गिरिविहार संस्थेत आल्यावर त्याच्या निव्वळ भटकंतीला प्रस्तरारोहणाची जोड मिळाली. गिरिविहारच्या प्रशिक्षण शिबिरामधून तांत्रिक बाबी त्याने पक्क्या करून घेतल्या आणि सुळके आरोहणाचा धडाका लावला. पुढच्या 10 वर्षांमध्ये बाण, अग्निबाण, वानरलिंगी, मांगीतुंगी, आवळ्याची लिंगी, हळबीची शेंडी अशा अनेक सुळक्यांवर त्यांनी यशस्वी आरोहण केलं. त्याच वेळी गिर्यारोहणाचं प्राथमिक प्रशिक्षण पूर्ण झाल्यावर त्याला हिमालयाने साथ घातली. फ्रँकोने आजवर 17 हिमालयन मोहिमा यशस्वी केलेल्या आहेत. भागीरथी, मेन्तोसा, शिवलिंग, पतालसू, बियास आणि माना या मोहिमांमध्ये त्याने नेते आणि उपनेते पदही सांभाळलं. पातालसू हिवाळी मोहीम होती. स्वर्गरोहिणी 1 आणि 3, ब्लॅक पीक, रुनसरा आणि बारासुखा या मोहिमेमध्ये तो शिखरवीर होता. 2 स्नो क्लॅड पीक्स ऑफ भगरारी ग्लेशियर चा तो पहिला आरोहक होता. कांचनजंगावरची जी पहिली भारतीय नागरी मोहीम झाली त्यात सुद्धा त्याचा सहभाग महत्वाचा होता. या मोहिमेमध्ये 24,000 फुटांपेक्षा जास्त उंचीवरती त्याने आरोहण केलेलं आहे. फ्रँकोचं वैशिष्ट्य म्हणजे त्यांनी केवळ स्वतःच्या मोहिमांकडे न पाहता संस्थेच्या विविध उपक्रमांमध्ये महत्वाचा वाटा उचललाय. गिरिविहारच्या प्रस्तरारोहण शिबिरात त्याचा सहभाग तितकाच महत्वाचा राहिलाय आणि स्वतः सुद्धा विविध प्रशिक्षण घेत त्याने स्वतःला तंदुरुस्त ठेवलेलं आहे, जे आपण आजही पाहू शकतो. गिरिविहारच्या माध्यमातून घेतल्या जाणाऱ्या कृत्रिम प्रस्तराभिंतीवरच्या स्पर्धा, नैसर्गिक प्रस्तरावरच्या स्पोर्ट्स क्लाइम्बिंग स्पर्धा, बोल्डरिंग स्पर्धा अशा अनेक उपक्रमांमध्ये सर्वच स्तरांमध्ये तो सतत कार्यरत राहिलेला आहे. भारतीय गिर्यारोहकांमध्ये फारशा लोकप्रिय नसलेल्या बिग वॉल क्लाइम्बिंगच्या मोहिमेमध्ये तो सहभागी होता. मियार व्हॅलीमधल्या या मोहिमेचा तो उपनेता होता. गिरिविहारच्या माध्यमातून घेण्यात येणाऱ्या स्पर्धांना चांगला प्रतिसाद पुढे मिळत गेला. त्याचं पर्यवसान स्पोर्ट्स क्लाइम्बिंगची विश्वचषक स्पर्धा आयोजित करण्यामध्ये झालं, ज्या स्पर्धेचा तो अध्यक्ष होता. सुद्धा फ्रँकोचे असे अनेक उपक्रम हिरिरीने सुरूच होते. त्यामुळे तो काही आठवडे अमेरिकेत असताना सुद्धा त्याने तिथले प्रस्तर सुळके आणि डोंगरांवरती चढाई केली. आजही वयाच्या 70ीत आहे तो. या वयाच्या 70ीत असलेला फ्रँको एखाद्या तरुणासारखा उत्साहाने डोंगरात वावरत असतो. त्याचा वावर तरुणांना अधिकाधिक प्रेरणा देत जातो आणि त्यामुळेच फ्रँको लिनारेस यांच्या गिर्यारोहण क्षेत्राच्या सर्वांगीण प्रगती आणि प्रसाराकरता दिलेल्या या उल्लेखनीय योगदानाबद्दल त्यांना गिरिमित्र जीवन गौरव सन्मान देऊन वयाची 70 ओलांडलेले आहे. ही सुद्धा एक विशेष बाब आहे.
Many of the great mountaineers of the world. But of course there's many, many more. And we shouldn't forget the contribution that many women have made to mountaineering over the years as well. It is a community sport. This is my opening photograph. Some of you will recognize it as Founder Debbie. It's very poignant to us because we lost one of our members mountain around there very recently. I'm not going to go through the history of the Alpine Club, but I need to talk a little bit about some of my heroes. The Alpine Club was formed in 1857, so it makes the first mountain club of the world. And these are some of the early stalwarts of the Alpine Club. They were gentlemen of leisure. On our records, we show that of the first 190 members, there were 78 who were seen as members of the government or the aristocracy. There were 64 who were barristers. There were 37 who were clergy. And then all the other rest were described as the others. The others now, of course, are those of us, like us. We are the ones who have taken climbing away from just the leisure classes to the entire. And the culmination of that was the ascent of Matterhorn in 1865 by one of the Alpine Club members, Edward Wilder, who at first was a very controversial character because he was a journalist and a writer and a painter and a very good one. And of course, mountaineering is also associated with triumph and tragedy. The two words often come together. And on the descent of the Matterhorn in 1865, of the 7 climbers, 4 of them fell to their death. And that's something that has haunted mountaineering, the legends of mountaineering, ever since. As has, of course, the fascination with Everest. Now, Everest was discovered, in fact, we should call it Chongunga or Sagamata, or both, give it its local names. The British had a fascination with this. It was kind of a culmination of the Great Game, trying to put a flag on the summit of the world's highest mountain. And many great mountaineers from Britain, particularly after World War I, when the nation was left on its knees, it was really battered, thought that climbing Mount Everest would restore pride and a sense of the British presence in the world. George Mallory, we heard, with Sandy Irving, and somewhere they went missing on the second step. So that my point is decided to happen here. But you all know that picture and that story very well. My battery gone on way of Ganga to into the Nanda Devi sanctuary, and of course Tillman was very much involved in the first ascent of Nanda Devi. I don't know why this has suddenly decided not to work. Photograph, the celebration, the 150th celebration of the ascent of the Matterhorn in Zermatt with many other famous climbers. You see Kurt Nieberger there and Tom and Hagler. Esther was there, and it's all a tradition of the Alpine Club. Next. Well, you've seen a few of my heroes in the old days, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and brought up in New England in the United States. And that's me on the left, on rock climbing when I was about 13, the upper left. This is working, but it's not pointing to the thing. The local crags were, at that time, completely unexplored. And in my teens, I climbed quite a lot in New England. There's me looking very alpine stylish in the bottom left, on top of, on top of the Grand Teton when I was 16, my first boot eastwards of the Grand. And when I was at university at Oregon on Mount Hood, on the bottom right-hand side. This is working as well. My heroes when I first came to England, to go to graduate school, were people like Chris Bonington, and Dougal Haston, and Doug Scott, and John Williams in the upper right there. These were the people who were really pushing the standards up in the Himalayas. In 1975, Chris Bonington led a team to climb the southwest face of Everest, and it was probably the last of the big national expeditions that Britain launched. It was just before the beginning of the Alpine Star, because Doug Scott from the bottom right there was one of the people who reached the summit. Next, please. And these are the young pretenders. These are the people who are going to take over some of the generations that were just ahead of us. That's me in the middle. The editor of the Alpine Journal from a few years ago, Bernard Newman here on the left, John Howell, very good climber, Alex McIntyre, who's the subject of my book, John Eames. This is in Chamonix, and we lived in absolute squalor and poverty. We had no money, and we used to just live on vegetables and whatever we could beg and borrow. And these are the famous blue vans who travelled out from the UK, which is far more dangerous getting there than actually climbing the mountain. Now, Alex McIntyre was a bit of a rock star looking character. A lot of people thought he looked like Mark Boland, who was a famous rock star at the time. Very long hair, but his hair didn't remain very long after this, because the day after this route was taken, this picture was taken, we were abseiling down Cenotaph Corner, a famous line, and his hair got caught in his descender. So he was there with his head down like this, cutting away kind of, and eventually he managed to sort of yank it out with a big chunk of hair, and he had to have a haircut the next day to make it even all the way around. One of the really important things about my generation is we believed putting in the hours. You couldn't climb straight out of your house. You had to spend many, many hours, 10,000 hours for Alex record. And he spent many hours climbing hard rock, and also hard ice. This is in Scotland. This is a new route. My pointer is working, but you can just see there, climate at Jarmagwaha. This is the sort of conditions we are used to in climbing in Scotland in the winter time when it's good conditions. So first you learn to rock climb, then you begin to apply that to ice. And then you go to the Alps, and you learn to alpine climb in the big mountains, and you learn a bit about alpine style. This is the equipment in the early 1970s. That's me. My Polish work shirt, boots, small ice axe, no badges. And having learned to rock climb and learned to climb extreme ice, we then began to be able to do things like this. The McIntyre Colton routes on the Grand Giraffes, and other great routes here, across the Cod Spur, the Water Spur. Many of us went and did these routes. The difference was that Alex McIntyre and Nick Colton climbed this route in one night. Within 24 hours, they had one bivvy high up, and then reached the summit. Dougal Haston and Chris Bonington spent 19 days trying to siege this and failed to do it. So we were the young pretenders, but we were also bringing new style and new concepts. And we wanted to transfer those concepts to the Himalayas. It's in the early 70s, all the 8,000 meter peaks had been climbed, but there were still many routes which have the magic line, the west face, the north-northwest ridge on the left-hand side there, which is on K2. And it wasn't really a competition, but we just felt, let's try these extreme mountains using the same styles we use in the Alps, even though they were twice as high. The danger we put ourselves in, however, was that we were a bit like test pilots with a new plane. We didn't know what the envelope was, so we were pushing the limits at very high elevations, just with 2 people or 4 people, or sometimes using other styles, and that led to some tragic consequences. My first real experience with apart from in the Alps, with climbing overseas was in Poland. I went to the Tatra in Poland in 1976, which was still part of the Soviet bloc. And there I met somebody who was going to become one of the big influences in my life, Wojciech Kurtyka, possibly the finest alpinist of my generation, if not all generations. He's climbed things like the Shining Wall on Gasherbon 4, most of the 8,000 meter peaks, but technically he's a brilliant climber. He's soloed up to French 8D without ropes, so he's an amazing guy. The most amazing thing about him at all, in all of his expeditions and all of his climbs, he's never experienced a fatality. Now this is Warsaw in 1976, and I describe it as booming socialism, if there is such a thing. It was a very drab city, and as a country, it was trying to open its doors a bit more to the west. And mountaineers, or the people who were leading that way, they were seen by the Communist Party of Poland as people they could really promote overseas. And mountaineering was one of the few sports that they really put a lot of effort into. They had these little big mountains called the Tatra. Anybody who ever has a chance to go to Poland, they're fantastic. A great training ground in the winter time. Not very high, only 2,500 to just under 3,000 meters. And they had international exchanges. There's me again, British twins, Bulgarians, Romanians, East Germans. It was a great international community that gathered in Poland in these days. And the climbing there was, unlike Scotland, the snow was unconsolidated, to the point that sometimes we had to climb on the road to be safe. And that sounds a contradiction. We did a lot of soloing in those days to learn how to be safe, to learn how to move quickly. And sometimes on slopes like this, if you were roped up and there's no relays, you're safer without a rope because you might pull your partner off. We did the first winter traverse of the Moskiewko Ridge, which is the big ridge, the highest ridge in Poland. Peter Boardman, Adrian Burgess, and myself. Peter Boardman is one of a name perhaps you know from his writing and his excellent climbing record. And there's Pete on top of Risi, the highest peak in Poland, on that winter traverse in early March 1976. And Pete was a very good friend of mine. It took us 3 days. It was a fabulous journey. It shows that you can have amazing experiences even on little mountains. You don't need to necessarily go to the biggest mountains. This is technically very difficult climbing all the way. You'll notice though that this is 1976. There's no badges, there's no sponsorship. All this is done just through our own efforts. Notice the belaying method here, the rope around. You just hope nobody falls off. In those days also you have to get permits only to climb in Poland. And we spent one night bivouacking in Czechoslovakia. And to our amazement, the first light was kicking up sleeping bags. And some Czech mountain troops had climbed all the way up because they'd seen our lights the night before. And we very quickly grabbed our key and stepped back into Poland on the other side of the ridge. 1976 was also the year that my friend Pete and Joe Tasker climbed this route on Shanghai, the west face. was the year after that southwest face of Everest. I said that was kind of the end of the big national expeditions. But this was the beginning of the new style, the idea that two people would go and climb a peak like this on their own. It was quite a breakthrough. So we were saying, wow, we really want to sort of now begin to emulate what they're doing. This is the sort of climbing that Pete and Joe were experiencing in '76. They were real pioneers. And there's Joe Casco on the summit of Changabang with Pete in reflection. I thought, I wonder if I can get up there one day. Didn't expect that to happen, but it did happen a couple of years later, which you'll see. On that trip in '76, I also met Andrew Savara. He was Chris Bonington of Poland. And you mentioned the relationship between the Communist Party and Savara. Savara was a warlord amongst the mountaineers, and he had a very delicate relationship with the politicians of the Communist Party. His father had actually fought with his grandfather fought with the white Russians in the revolution in the early 1900s. So he had a rather dodgy background. But because of his climbing record and the strength of his personality and his aristocratic background, he managed to get money from the Polish government to organize many expeditions. And of course, the thing he's most known for is the leader of the first major winter expeditions, starting with Norchak, but then amazingly climbing Everest in 1979 in winter, and that was a real breakthrough. And I got to know Andrew really well, and we decided we would organize an east-west expedition, the first east-west expedition. And they thought, unwisely, that everybody in the West had money. We were just sort of ex-students trying to scrape a living to go climbing. But we did manage to get together about $5,000, and we arrived in Poland. And they said, $5,000, we don't have enough money to fly to Afghanistan. So what are we going to do? In those days, you could change money illegally behind the legal on the black market, and you get 10 times the rate of zloty that you would do at the bank. And with that, the Poles had enough money to run the expedition. They did all the organization. But what they didn't tell us was that they were going to have to smuggle us across the Soviet Union. We couldn't afford to fly, so they bought us railway tickets from Warsaw to Termez in Uzbekistan. And when we got our tickets, my name was Portovich, and Alex was McIntyre escape. And all they said was just be very quiet. And the reason they had to smuggle us, this area was closed to Westerners, because the route we were taking, which was the route that the military were taking to prepare for the invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. So there were many convoys going that way. So we traveled through the Soviet Union, over the River Volga, and at one point in the train, Wojtek came to Alex and I and said, would you like bandaka? And Alex said, I've never had bandaka. Do you eat it hot or cold? And he said, no, bandaka is this amazing mountain. When you see it, you will really be scared. And he showed us this picture. We thought, you're right. It's the face from top to bottom is 2,900 meters. So it's 3 times the size of the north face of the island. Eventually we got to Termez, where the Russians realized that we shouldn't be there, and we were put under house arrest as the soldiers coming to take us away. And it wasn't a bad house arrest, because for 2 days we were in a small hotel in a California-like climate drinking yogurt. And eventually the Russians thought, well, what do? We can't send them back, because this is the first east-west expedition. So they led us across the Amudarya into Afghanistan, which in those days was a magical world. This is the mosque at Mazar Sharif, where the nephew of one of Muhammad's sons is buried, very holy place in Islam. And when we reach Hyderabad, which is at the beginning of the Wakhan corridor journey, the Poles began to unload all their barrels. And the Poles not only were good at smuggling people, they're extremely good at smuggling goods back and forth between the Asian countries and Warsaw. And what we realized was actually that part of the arrangements of the Communist Party was that they would bring back all sorts of things to Poland which you couldn't get in Poland. Everything from Afghan coats and carpets to illegal drugs, etc. And this was part of the strange relationship between the Polish climbing establishment and the Polish government. Things you don't see anymore in Afghanistan, the great caravans of nomads traveling between Sind and Yarkand. I think the world has changed so much, there's nothing like this to be visible anywhere. Now one problem we had with going to Bandaka was we didn't have permits for Bandaka. The only permit we had was to another valley called Madras. So we had a simple solution. In the east, as you know, you can, in the old days, you could always find a solution. We took the permit here from Madras, we got a bit of paper and wrote Bandaka over where it said Madras, stuck it on the photograph, and hey ho, we had a permit to Bandaka. Traveling to the Wakhan corridor, and there's Alex, looking very happy. We're about to split from the main expedition and head up this valley behind into the central Hindu Kush. Bandaka is the highest peak in the central Hindu Kush. Beautiful area of Afghanistan, wonderful climbing. The higher we went, the more barren it became. These are desert mountains. And occasionally you see these irrigation canals snaking down the mountain, and you knew that over the next rise there would be a valley like this. Fantastic irrigation, very friendly people. At least one of the donkeys had a bit more sense than others, or at least a lack of trust. This donkey decided it didn't want to go across this old cantilever bridge, so they had to unload him and then carry the donkey across the river. And of course, load him up on the other side. I kind of half thought maybe I should close my eyes and carry it myself. This is the village of Sang Beach. This is in the northwest tribal areas where this is still very much Taliban controlled today. That's the border with Pakistan behind. These little boys in the village, I really wondered what has happened to them since 1977. After so many decades of war, are any of them still alive? Eventually we got to a place called Bandakan, where we got the first sight of our mountain, which is the highest hill you can see there on the left. And this is Wojtek, myself, still with my Polish work shirt, and Alex, packing our gear for the ascent. So there's the northeast face of Bandaka, and that's the route we climbed. 6 days, some of it not particularly difficult, but all of it incredibly dangerous. The camps were this point there. This is what we call the cyclotron. That's something you'll see. And these are the upper snowfields. So the last big whack was just about there. The first couple of days were just avoiding rockfall coming down from everywhere and climbing rock, which is about the consistency of chocolate cake. Very poor protection. Sometimes you climb a ridge like this and huge chunks of it would fall out on the way. And then at the end of day 2 we got into some steeper rock, which was safer, but the problem was there was still massive rock falls coming down it. So I had a bit of an argument with my friend Wojtek. I wanted to climb in the dark and try to get above the cyclotron. He said, no, if we try that, we'll be killed. So we sat all morning until about 1 in the afternoon until the sun left the face, and then went back and climbed the cyclotron after everything had calmed down a bit. It was difficult climbing. This is at nearly 6,000 meters now. And here's me. Notice the clothing in those days: motorcycle helmet, scarf, Norwegian sweater. Here's my camera, which I took most of it. Now the great thing about those days, because you didn't have a stick plate or grippery, it was quite easy to take photographs. You just had to draw up the road, grab your camera, look up and take. And you leader didn't know you were doing that. It was
the sort of picture you took. This is Wojtek leading extremely difficult rock climbing in big boots in the cyclotron. And that's me on the 3 or 4 pitches higher than that, a really hard pitch. I climbed well into the dark, until there was easier ground. And then this was the scene the next morning, halfway up the wall on Bandaka, with Tikishmir and Noshak, and just a thought for everybody. This is Alex and Wojtek waking up that morning after a very, very long and hard day. This is where they slept, this is where I slept. And there's the glacier 6,000 feet below us now. I count somewhere down there. A day later, that's where the cyclotron came out. You can see that light was there. And a day later again, now nearly 8,000 feet above the glacier. Until finally on day 5, we traversed onto the summit ice fields and had the last big one. And the morning came with the sun, as it always did. The great thing about climbing desert mountains in Afghanistan is the sun is always there with you. It warms you up. And having a lovely breakfast, such a rare experience at those elevations. The final day was a mix of very steep ice climbing. And that's me finding a way through these hanging seracs, which we had some fear might collapse on our heads. But the final obstacle was this cornice at the top. Now, Alex McIntyre had been quite quiet until this point, but when we got to this cornice, he took over completely. He said, "Alex, my turn." And Wojtek said, "You are like monkey of the legends, Alex. You appear just when you're needed." And he found a hole over there on the right, and he squeezed into it and worked his way up out through the cornice to the top. And there we are, suddenly over this amazing summit, the size of probably 2 football fields. A bit slow, but it was an amazing experience. It was so nice that we decided to spend the night up there. That's the shadow of Bandaka, with Tirikshmir in the haze across there. Well, I said Paul's a great trader. Wojtek decided to trade all of our base camp equipment for some lapis lazuli, and that got us into a spot of bother. Because when we got down, the policeman said, "Okay, hand over the lapis lazuli," and because it's illegal for Western to call lapis. And Wojtek said, "You mean this?" And he was going up and down, and he threw it into the river, and it hit a rock and it shattered, and all the young boys from the village were about to jump into the stream. It was mayhem. Basically, we were put on trial by the local population, but the mullah came and said, "Hold on, there was a trade here, was there not, between lapis? You gave lapis to the camp, base camp, and they had a fatwa issued which was in our favor, because we were the ones who had been wronged. And anyway, we climbed Bandaka, which meant the Nakal Allah in the local language. So obviously we were seen as blessed. And that's the way we came down off the mountain, past this scene of water coming magically from a rock. There's Joe Tasker in the middle of me, well, sorry, and that's a friend of ours, girlfriend and Pete Borman. I knew these guys really well by this time, and we talked about Changaban, and we realized that their route here was matched by something even more difficult on the other side, on the South Buttocks, and that's where we went the following year. Changaban, of course, in the Garhwal of your Himalaya. We had lots of time to wait in Delhi, because this was the year that the announcement came about the CIA expedition to Nanda Devi, where they had left the monitoring device, and it was unfound. I think it's still not been found. So it took us 2 or 3 weeks of additional negotiations before we made such a pain of ourselves to the IMF bureaucrats in Delhi that they eventually said, well, you're probably better off out of our hair. We'll let you go. So off we went. We were joined by Christoph Zurich and our Dr. Leszek Konashevsky and our fabulous liaison officer, Casey Kadria. Getting into the non-Delhi sanctuary is itself an expedition. Going up the Rishi Ganga took us 6 days to get into base camp. We left from the village of Lata, that's where we got most of our quarters. They were an amazingly tough bunch of guys. And we owe our expedition to these two brothers and their friend here, and I'll explain that story. But on the way up to Lata, Kalak, which is a long ways above the village of Lata, this lad fell a bit ill, so I dropped almost all the way back down to get his equipment and help his brothers to get him safely up to the camp that night in the dark. Say, El Capitan, we're now at nearly 20,000 feet, and there's a 3,000 foot wall ahead of us. It took us 5 days to help climb this wall. This has been attempted since we did it in 1978, but nobody succeeded yet in following the route. And we had 5 big wires. The magic of the mountains never ceases. This shield, which we had to enter to climb onto the upper wall, was split by a single crack, and here you can see Wojtek in that crack. Without that crack being there, we would have had to go all the way down. So we didn't have bolts or any artificial equipment. We were climbing a tree. We thought this was going to be the line we'd take up this gully to the left, but it was overhanging chimneys. So at this point, Alex, climbing Scottish 6, said we can't go any further this way. So we broke out right, and I've seen it. We got on television. In fact, one night we went to the television and our doctor had given us so much vodka that we were totally lost on the way. And when we got into the TV studio, the first question I asked Alex was, Alex, was it difficult? So it was very difficult finding our way. We went to the wrong bus station, and, and this is on live Polish television, so you can imagine what they thought. Next year, Alex and I continued our quest for ever lighter climbing. This is in South America. Alan Rouse and Brian Hall, two colleagues of mine. And Rene went on the face, and they got to that little rock step that I pointed out, and they had with them only 2 ice picks, 2 rock screws, and 1 rope, and they couldn't find a way through this with so little equipment, so they started down. They had 1 bivouac just below the cool descent pool wall, but in the morning they left a bit late, and the sun hit the summit ridge, and Alex was killed by a single stone that fell from the other summit. It was rather shattering. We went back to try to retrieve the body, but a storm blew in, and it was impossible. So I found myself having to go to Kathmandu. And in 1982, the only telephone there was in Kathmandu was at the post office, and you had to book a call. Twice I tried to book a call to get a hold of Alex's mother, and twice the line went down. So the first time that Alex's mother realized what had happened was when the policeman, Bobby, walked up the drive and knocked on the door. It was devastating for her, devastating for Alex's fiance, and devastating for the entire climbing community. Steve, Joe, and Alex all lost in the same year. Went back to my Lake District, rather subdued. I had a bad climbing accident the following year. I mentioned that I went back to put up a plaque for Alex, which is the name of my book actually. It was what his mother wanted to see. She was aware of an old Buddhist saying that says, better to live one day as a tiger than a lifetime as a sheep. I think that may also be a saying that came from early India, some debate. But in any case, that's the title of my book, and that's what Alex's mother wanted on my side, with a now rather scoured face of Annapurna because of climate change. 86, I got back in the groove, went to K2 with pretty much the same team that had gone to Everest in the 80s. Sometimes people ask me what alpine style means, and I think this is the best example I can give people. This is pure alpine style. Tim Kern and Alan Rouse those who were here yesterday saw Jim's lovely film with Harish on Note Mountain. And those little boys I'd seen at Sand Beach on the first trip I went on with Harish, which was many years later after I started a family, and I was by this time much quieter than I'd been in my youth. This is a photograph of the Sassalor going to Chongkundan in the Eastern Karakoram. I'd written to Harish, having read his wonderful book, Hidden Himalaya, a couple of years before, and I said, Harish, you don't say much about this mountain, Chongkundan. Can you give me some more information? And there was complete silence. Except eventually a letter came through to Dave Wilkinson and myself, and Harish said, would you like to form an Indian Anglo expedition to this mountain? I said, of course, let's go. And there's the team. It was great to see my friend Bhupesh and Vijay. Where's Vijay here? This is Harish with a special treat for Neil McCady. And when we got back, I wanted to enjoy my family early, but I think Harish and Dean stayed on. They found it over, I remember, 14, 15 days. When we got out, we had some explaining to do because we only had permission for one. So Mr. Kumar, they were saying, how many things did you find, Harish? Eventually, we had to find some more dollars. So in the years after that, or in the years since, I've climbed many other mountains in the Alps. I've been to Tibet, to this area of Sepu Kangri. I've learned many lessons, such as this, with Chris Bonington asking the Bonpo monk when there might be good weather on the mountain, because we had terrible weather. And the Bonpo monk said, do you want good weather, Mr. Bonington? And he said, yes. He said, in that case, you should go to the beaches of Thailand. And climbing, as Wojtek Kurtka is here telling you, has nothing to do with being first or fastest or conquest. It is about, as we heard earlier, being part of the nature of mountains and part of the community of friends that really are here as safeguards of those mountains. And Reinhold didn't get it. He's been always driven just by the numbers game, getting to the summit, being first, fastest, etc. So I said in that picture on the Changmeng Glacier, remember where you were, this is at 16,000 feet, this is 5,000 meters, and there was this magical flower appearing, a single flower, which to me is this moment, these type of moments in the mountain are some of the most important. When you realize that life somehow will overcome everything, it will always try to be somewhere, and that's part of the human spirit. I don't know what type of flower this is, I wish I knew. Somebody in the audience might know. The advice of a well-known French climber called Gaston Raverfort. And his advice was, remember that the mountain does not know that you are an expert. Thank you very much.
ज्यांचं अभिनेत्याचं नाव होतं हरिहराच्या पायऱ्या.
आलेले आहेत.
तुम्हाला दिसतंय गेल्या गेली 3 वर्ष त्यांना या पायऱ्यांच्या शेजारी त्यांनी एक कविता लिहिलेली आहे. पायऱ्यांसारखीच लिहिलेली.
अभिनंदन सर. यानंतर दुसरं पारितोषिक आपण जाहीर करतोय. दुसरं पारितोषिक भित्तिचित्र स्पर्धा अर्थात पोस्टर स्पर्धेचं जातंय अजय हातेकर आणि विषय आहे द्वार शिल्प. अजय हातेकर कृपया राष्ट्रगावावर. आणि त्यानंतर पोस्टर आपण या ठिकाणी बघतो आहोत. द्वार शिल्प जी आपली सगळे गड किल्ले आहेत त्या किल्ल्यांवरच्या प्रवेशद्वारावरच्या शिल्पाचा या पोस्टर केलेला आहे. जोरदार टाळ्यांनी स्वागत करूया अजय हातेकर. द्वार शिल्पासाठी तृतीय पारितोषिक पोस्टर स्पर्धा.
शेखर राजे शिर्के
शेखर राजे शिर्के.
एक मोठा फोटो आणि 4 लहान फोटो एकाच ठिकाणाचे त्यांनी एकत्र करून लावलेले, पण दगडांमधल्या पाताळातल्या कोरीव पायऱ्या असा त्यांनी विषय घेतला होता.
शेखर राजे शिर्केंचा अभिनय आपण शाळामध्ये त्यांना उत्साहाने प्रथम झाली होती. पोस्टर स्पर्धा अर्थात भित्तिचित्र स्पर्धा.
धन्यवाद सर.
धन्यवाद.
आणि आता यानंतर इन ऍक्शन आपण बघूया आणि सगळेजण त्याची वाट बघताय ती कांचनजंगा मोहिमेची एटी आता आपण बघूया.
आठ 8,586 मीटर्स उंचीचं भव्य आणि भेदक शिखर. भव्य इतकं की ज्याचं रूप एका वेळी डोळ्यात सामावून घेताच येत नाही, आणि भेदक इतकं की ज्याकडे अधिक वेळ बघत राहिलं तर धडकी भरते. जगातील 3ऱ्या आणि भारतातील 1ल्या क्रमांकाचं उंच शिखर अर्थात माउंट कांचनजुंगा. 8,000 मीटरच्या वरती करावं लागणार या साऱ्या आव्हानांची मालिका पेलायला आणि एका उत्तुंग स्वप्नाला सत्यात उतरवायला निघाली होती गिरी प्रेमीची कांचनजुंगा इको मोहीम 2019. दिनांक 17 एप्रिल 2019. गिरी प्रेमीच्या संघानं 18,000 फुटांवर अतिशय खडतर जागी बसलेला बेस तसंच डिहायड्रेशन सारखे त्रासही सुरू होता. त्यामुळे कॅम्प 3ला पोहोचायला संघाला तब्बल 5 तास लागले. पहिल्या रोटेशनमध्ये कॅम्प 2 आणि दुसऱ्या रोटेशनमध्ये कॅम्प 3 गाठून आता संघ अंतिम चढाईसाठी सज्ज झाला. आता पुढची हालचाल चांगली वेदर विंडो वाहून करावी लागणार होती, परंतु त्यासाठी तब्बल 10 दिवसांचा कालावधी जावा लागला. परंतु कॅम्प 2ला पोहोचताच हवा खराब झाली आणि विजांच्या कडकडाटासह बर्फवृष्टी सुरू झाली. पुन्हा एकदा हवामानाचा प्रश्नचिन्ह उभा टाकला. सुदैवानं पुण्यातून गणेश मोरे आणि अविनाश कांदे नाही. हवामान बदललं, ढगाळ नाडून हळूहळू चंद्र डोकावू लागला आणि काही वेळात सगळे ढग नाहीसे झाले. गिरीप्रेमीचा शिखराचा मार्ग पुन्हा एकदा खुला झाला. सर्वजण पूर्ण रात्रभर चालत होते, परंतु सर्वांनी आजवर ऐकलेलं ठिकाण ओम मोरा, जिथून बांधा केवळ 2 तासांवर होता, ते अजूनही नजरेच्या टप्प्यात येत नव्हतं. त्यांची वाटच पाहत थांबली होती. समोर नजरेत भरत होता तो सूर्याचा प्रखर गोळा आणि अर्थात कांचनजुंगा शिखराचा माथा. यांनी माथा टाकला. उमेश झिरवे नेता म्हणून 7 अष्टहजारी शिखर मोहिमा सलग आणि यशस्वीरित्या पार पाडणारे देशातील एकमेव व्यक्ती ठरले. ती म्हणजे जगातील 3ऱ्या आणि भारतातील सर्वात उंच शिखरावर तिरंगा आणि भगवा फडकावून निर्विवाद यश मिळवून गिरीप्रेमीचे सर्व सदस्य सुखरूप बेस कॅम्पवर परतले. एव्हरेस्ट, लोटसे, मकालू, चोबोई, धवलागिरी, मनासू या 6 अष्टहजारी शिखरांनंतर आता कांचनजंगाच्या रूपानं आणखी एक सोनेरी पान गिरीप्रेमीच्या इतिहासात लिहिलं गेलं.
आणि आज आपल्या इथे आपल्याबरोबर नाही आनंद माळी 10 जणांची टीम उमेश झिरवे यांच्या नेतृत्वाखाली आम्ही गेलो होतो. धन्यवाद.
विनंती करते की त्यांनी व्यासपीठावर येऊन या सर्वांचं कौतुक करावं. सगळ्या गिरीमित्रांतर्फे आणि सगळ्या महाराष्ट्रातर्फे रादर. And I also would like to call upon Mr. John Porter to accompany Mr. Vakharia. This is a team that we just watched in action. Please extend the tokens of love to the team Giripremi. या वर्षी 2019च्या 15 मेला मकालू या जगातल्या 5व्या क्रमांकाच्या उंच शिखरावर चढणारी, त्याचं आरोहण करणारी पहिली भारतीय महिला आहे. तिचं सुद्धा खूप खूप कौतुक आपण करायचंय. आतापर्यंत मेन्थोसा, एव्हरेस्ट, किलिमांजारो, लोटसे, बंडरपूच अशी शिखरं तिने आतापर्यंत पादाक्रांत केलेली आहेत. आणि प्रियांकाच्या या यशस्वी प्रवासाला आज आपण शुभेच्छा देणार आहोत. Priyanka, would you like to say a few words?
Hello everyone. Thank you so much actually. And after I got opportunity to climb Mount Everest in 2013, I was very young and I don't know what to do after that. But before Everest, I have climbed like 2-3 mountains. But when I was coming back from Mount Everest, I saw Lhotse and I was like, okay, I want to be a climber, I don't want to be Everest. I don't want that tag in front of me, that Everest climber, Priyanka, I want to be a climber. So I asked my dad and I told him that I want to climb 8,000 meters. Otherwise, like I want to be a climber from my heart. So I told him that I want to do these things. And then after climbing Everest, he asked me, I was very young, I was 20, and then he asked me, what do you want? I was like, when I was coming back from Mount Everest, I saw Mount Lhotse and I want to climb that. And that time, he's like, okay, let's come to home and then we'll discuss and I'll tell you next year. 2014, 2015, 2 years I tried on Lhotse, but because of the avalanche and because of the earthquake, I was not able to climb Mount Lhotse. But it was there something in my heart that, okay, I was not able to climb above Khumbu Ice Fall, but I was practicing a lot, and like last year 2018 I got that from my heart that, okay, I think this is the year I should go and at least try to climb Mount Lhotse. And then yeah, on 16 when I was able to summit Mount Lhotse, and then of course if you climb high and if you are on the top, you can see so many summits over there. And then my dad and my mom is like, what next? I was like, I saw Makalu, can I go for Makalu? Then of course, yeah, he allowed me again, and this year I climbed Makalu. And like I'm climbing from Everest, Lhotse, now Makalu, but the level of climbing level and technicality as a climber or a mountaineer, I'm growing. I can't say that, yeah, because I'm a mountaineer, I'm growing because, yeah, I want to climb so many. So maybe next year we saw all the clips. So I got a goosebumps and I was like, okay, maybe next year this is the best mountain I can go and climb.
I am sure that on the
तर तिघांनी कृपया व्यासपीठावरती यावं.
या परीक्षेसाठी परीक्षण केलं होतं डॉक्टर परेश काळे आणि श्री विवेक काळे यांनी. एकूण 75 जणांच्या एंट्रीज या स्पर्धेसाठी आलेल्या होत्या आणि 250 फोटोज मधून हे बेस्ट 6 फोटोज सिलेक्ट केलेले आहेत. 3 उत्तेजनाचं पारितोषिक आहेत जे ह्या सगळ्यांना आहेत. परत सरांना विनंती करते की त्यांनी या तिन्ही विजेत्यांना पारितोषिक वितरित करावं.
अभय ग्रुप
एनसर्कल्ड बाय माउंटन असं त्याच्या फोटोचं नाव आहे. पाठी आपल्याला तो दिसतो आहे.
निखिल बागुलचा जो फोटो आहे त्याचा उत्तेजनाचं बक्षीस मिळालं तो आपण स्क्रीनवर पाहूया. हा निखिल बागुलचा फोटो आहे.
गीत झाली. सौरभ चौधरी
यांचं गिरिमल फॉल्स असा वॉटरफॉल आहे जो आपण आता समोर बघतो आहोत. गिरिमल फॉल्स फोटो आहे. यानंतर जाऊया तिसऱ्या पारितोषिकाकडे. तिसरं पारितोषिक जाते ज्याचं प्राइस अमाऊंट आहे 2000 रुपये. कॅश प्राइस आणि सर्टिफिकेट ज्यांना दिलं जातं. तर असे तिसरं प्राइस मिळवणारे आहेत अशोक देवांगड. मॉन्सून ब्युटी असं त्यांच्या फोटोचं नाव आहे. अशोक देवांगड.
द्वितीय क्रमांक आहे विपुल जाधव. फायर इन द स्काय. रोख रुपये 3000 आणि प्रशस्ती पत्र असं त्याचं स्वरूप आहे.
विपुल जाधव.
आणि या स्पर्धेतले प्रथम क्रमांक विजेते आहेत अमित पटेल. द मॅग्निफिसंट वॉटरफॉल. हे गुजरातचे आहेत. ते आज इथे येऊ शकलेले नाहीये पण आपण त्यांचा फोटो स्क्रीनवरती पाहूया. अमित पटेल असं त्यांचं नाव आहे.
डोंगरात करतो तिथे प्रेक्षक असतात पण ते प्रेक्षकांपर्यंत पोहोचण्याचं एक माध्यम फोटो आणि ही जी काही फिल्म बनवत होती. आणि आताच मगाशी जे काही परीक्षक होते त्यांचं मनोगत तुम्हाला वाचून दाखवण्यात आलं होतं. त्या परीक्षकांनी त्या फिल्मचा जेव्हा निकाल जाहीर केला त्यातले एक जुने परीक्षक होते. त्यांनी सांगितलं की यंदाच्या फिल्मचं क्वालिटी खूप अप्रतिम आहे. कारण तो त्यांनी पहिल्या 4-5 वर्षापूर्वीच्या फिल्म बघितलेल्या होत्या आणि आता जी काही प्रगती झालेली खूप चांगली आहे. जवळजवळ 21 फिल्म झाल्या त्यातल्या निम्म्यापेक्षा जास्त फिल्मची क्वालिटी अप्रतिम होती. आणि हे सगळ्यात मोठं यश आहे. हे आपलं सगळ्यांचं यश आहे. कारण आपल्याला समाजापर्यंत पोहोचण्याकरता आपला जो काही छंद आहे हा नुसता आपल्यापुरता नसतं सगळ्यांना याच्यामध्ये सामावून घेता येईल. आणि त्यातनं दुसरं असं की हे याच्याबद्दलचे पॉझिटिव्ह मेसेज सगळ्या समाजामध्ये जातं. माध्यम आहे. माध्यमाचा आपण खूप चांगला वापर करू शकतो. तर त्यामुळे खूप या सगळ्यांचं अभिनंदन. त्यांनी आतापर्यंत या सगळ्या 15 वर्षाच्या प्रवासात त्या फिल्मच्या प्रगतीच्या प्रवासात आपला वाटा उचलला. त्याच्यामुळे आजचे जो काही आपला एक